Forget plugins. This protocol is secretly connecting AI to everything. It is the missing link that actually makes your AI useful. Right now, your LLM is like a brilliant brain in a jar full of potential but cut off from the world. MCP gives it hands, eyes, and ears. It finally lets Claude step out of the chat window and interact directly with your systems, databases, and live tools. Every AI demo you have seen is staged. They show preloaded, static data. MCP shatters that illusion. It is not just a connector, it is the bridge from scripted playback to genuine, live autonomy. This is the moment your AI stops reciting a prepared script and starts genuinely interacting with your actual, messy, dynamic business reality. So stop treating your AI like a guest in your systems. MCP invites it to move in. It gives Claude its own keys, its own permissions, to directly query the databases and APIs that power your operations. This isn't about feeding it data, it is about giving it direct, autonomous access to the source. Right now, you are manually shoveling data into your AI. MCP eliminates that friction forever. Think of it as a universal translator, connecting any AI directly to your live production business logic and data silos. You define the interface once, the models use it anywhere. This is the shift from fragmented prompting to a unified, intelligent operating system. But what does open actually mean for your tech stack? This isn't vendor lock-in. It is freedom. Any AI that speaks MCP can connect to your server. Claude today, another model tomorrow. You own the bridge. You are not just automating a task, you are building an enduring, sovereign layer of intelligence for your entire business. Break all AI limits by connecting Claude to any tool you own right now. This is the foundational step that most developers rush. You must install Node.js, which is our runtime engine, and TypeScript for robust, type-safe code. This combo provides the powerful, scalable environment your MCP server demands. Skip this at your own peril. A shaky foundation here will break everything you build later. Let's get it done. Think of this like building a skyscraper. You do not start with the windows. You need the core structural steel. Your server is the foundation, and the client is the facade. Running them as separate projects is non-negotiable. This clear separation is what gives your MCP architecture its incredible strength and flexibility. Your server code demands one critical dependency. This is what lets you implement the MCP specification itself. Open a new terminal in your server directory and run the installation command. Without this SDK, your server has no protocol to speak, no foundation to build upon. This is your first concrete step. Your terminal is ready. Now, we need the translator for this new language of servers. Run the TypeScript compiler configuration command. This isn't just a config file, it is the bridge that will transform your clean, modern code into the robust executable your MCP server requires to come alive. Excellent. The bridge is built. Let's cross it. Create a new file named index.ts and type this simple test. We are not just testing code. We are testing the very connection of our new universe. Execute it. That log message isn't just text, it is the first pulse of your MCP server's heart. Stop telling your AI agents they cannot connect to custom tools. Now we define what your MCP server actually does. List the specific tools it provides for Claude, like querying a database or checking inventory. Also, detail any knowledge resources it can access. This declaration is the blueprint that transforms a simple connector into a powerful, custom intelligence engine. Your tools expose new powers. We implement specific functions like fetch_customer_data or update_order_status where your server's logic lies. Your handlers receive a request, execute your business logic, and return a structured response. This is where your MCP server truly becomes operational, bridging Claude's intelligence with your custom systems. Think simple. A tool isn't some complex API. It's just a single, focused capability. Your fetch_weather function is that capability. You write the logic, call an external API, parse the result, then expose it. Suddenly, Claude can ask about the weather, and your server handles the messy reality. One function, one new power. That's the breakthrough. So, you have built a tool. But the real world isn't a clean demo. External APIs need keys, and sometimes they fail. You must bake this reality into your server, securely injecting credentials and gracefully handling errors. Do not just make it work, make it resilient. This turns a prototype into a trustworthy production bridge. Now, let's prove it is alive. The MCP inspector is your control panel. Run it, point it at your server, and watch the handshake. You will see your tool's capabilities listed, ready to be called. This moment, when Claude finally sees through your server, validates the entire architecture. It is no longer code, it is a gateway. Claude can now access anything if you control the connection. But you are not finished. The server's potential is locked until the client connects. Think of this as lighting the fuse, one wrong configuration and it all fizzles. You must wire the transport precisely, because this handshake is what turns your static code into a living data pipeline. Get it right, and Claude becomes your most powerful tool. Now, the client holds the key. Your server sits waiting silent. This final bridge demands absolute precision. Specify the exact MCP server address and port in your Claude configuration. Any mismatch here, and the entire system stays dark. Authenticate correctly to prove identity. A flawless connection ignites the entire architecture. Now the client must speak. We have built the tool chest, but Claude needs to discover its contents. Your client will dynamically list every available tool, pulling function names and descriptions from the server. This silent handshake makes the entire library instantly accessible. Each discovery is a new capability, live and ready for your command. But speaking the protocol is only half the battle. This is where real magic happens, transforming raw messages into an intelligent dialogue. You will orchestrate the entire conversation, ensuring every client request is perfectly framed and every server response is decoded. This pipeline makes your tools come alive for Claude, turning structured data into seamless interaction. Now, let's fortify that connection. Your client must not just send requests, but anticipate and manage the unexpected. Implement robust try-catch blocks, define clear error states, and provide meaningful feedback. This resilience ensures your integration remains stable and debuggable when things go wrong, making the entire system professionally reliable. Unlock any API. Your AI's superpower is not in its brain. Let's make Claude an expert on you. We'll connect our MCP server to the GitHub API. I'm adding code to fetch your real repositories. Watch as I define the tools. This moves us from theory to tangible power. Your AI can now interact with your actual work. Here's the live authentication and the first successful API call. Watch the code come alive. I am implementing the list_repositories tool right now. This is where Claude transitions from a passive assistant to an active operator. I will define the schema, handle authentication seamlessly, and execute the call. Your AI will return a live list of your actual GitHub projects. See the connection happen. Now watch as I make Claude truly dynamic. We are moving beyond lists into actionable search. I will configure the tool, integrate authentication, and pass parameters directly. You will see Claude query your GitHub issues with specific filters and return precise, real-time results, proving your AI can now interact with live data on your behalf. But data isn't always polite. Real APIs throttle you and serve results piece by piece. I will implement robust, back-off retry logic and handle paginated responses automatically. This means your MCP client will not crash under load and will fetch complete datasets every time, making Claude's interactions with live APIs truly bulletproof. Let's be honest, most tutorials handle pristine test data. Real APIs are chaotic. Mine will fail, throttle, and paginate unpredictably. So I'll engineer automatic retry logic and pagination handling into the client. No more manual stitching or crashes under load. Watch Claude seamlessly fetch complete datasets from a messy, live API. This is where your tools become professional. Forget plugins. MCP is the true gateway to Claude's limitless power. You've got your server running. Now the real work begins. You'll hit authentication errors, transport failures. I see it constantly. The logs are your only truth. Do not guess, instrument everything. A local prototype failing is a gift. If it's fragile now, it will break catastrophically later. Build for that moment from the start. Think of logs as the black box recorder on your aircraft. When your server's communication with Claude goes silent mid-flight, you are flying blind without that data. Instrument every request and response. Capture the full payload and timing. These traces are your forensic evidence, turning a mysterious crash into a 5-minute fix. Now, security. Your custom data sources and API keys are pure gold. Never embed them in code or dump them to logs. Treat your environment variables as master keys, hidden away. Every single input from Claude is an untested event. Validate it rigorously. A single unchecked parameter is an open door. Lock it down, because the moment you connect, you are a target. Move beyond single calls. This is about raw efficiency. Cache static or slow-changing data aggressively on your server. Do not let Claude hammer the same endpoint. Then, batch requests. Package multiple queries into one trip to your data source. Slash latency, crush API rate limits, and transform your prototype into a production-grade pipeline. So your tool works once. But will it work under load? Write unit tests for each handler. Then, simulate real traffic, test how it behaves with high request volumes and network failures. Finally, monitor performance. You need to know exactly when a request stalls or fails before your users do. Stop blindly using APIs. MCP servers are the hidden link you are missing. Can you feel it? That power to plug Claude directly into your live database instead of messy API abstractions? We are going to wire it up to PostgreSQL and MongoDB, turning Claude into your real-time data analyst. Watch as it queries your actual tables and documents, making sense of it all for you on the fly. Now, imagine Claude not just querying your database, but presenting that data through a bespoke dashboard. Embed your MCP server directly into a web app, building interactive tools and tailored visualizations. This is the true power, transforming raw data into custom, actionable intelligence. You are not just reading reports, you are creating the entire system. But stacking tools linearly is naive. True orchestration means conflict. Design your MCP tools to compete, a retrieval tool arguing with a summarizer, a validator overriding a generator. Force Claude into a director's role, evaluating conflicting outputs to build deeper reasoning. Stop building obedient pipelines, build adversarial systems that pressure test every insight before it reaches you. Your MCP foundation is solid. Now, pressure test its architecture. Don't just deploy, orchestrate a conflict. Host parallel servers with competing logic, forcing your client to adjudicate between them. This isn't a passive pipeline, it is an active courtroom where data is vigorously debated. Scale by designing friction, proving every insight under adversarial conditions before you trust it. Now, architect for failure, not just scale. Simulate a complete infrastructure outage. Can your client degrade gracefully and reroute? Build this chaos into your design from day one. The system that survives intentional sabotage is the one you can truly trust in production when real problems strike without warning.